Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, we shape and polish gemstones using Dremel. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. Today we're going to be making some of my very first doublets. So here I am showing you guys some of my selected pieces of opal that I think are just either a little bit too thin, or once I get rid of the dirt that they'll be too thin to make solid stones. So I want to try to turn them into doublets. You can see this one is super thin. That might even be triplet material, but a lot of these have really great color. Some of them don't have such good color, and basically what we're going to want to do is flatten these out so that they'll fit nicely on our potch. And the potch, in the darkness of it, will bring the colors out a bit more. But I did pick out a variety of different types of patterns of this Australian opal here. This is all Australian. This one is probably the most colorful, most brilliant one of the batch. And I just kind of want to take these and maximize them as much as possible. Ones like that one there, I could probably make a solid stone with, and this one here as well. But I want to try to enhance that color. It doesn't look too great right now, and some of these will turn out into doublets and some of them won't. So there will be a certain percentage of yield that you'll get. Some stones aren't even suitable for doublets, but we're going to try to make them work as much as possible today. And all of these opals that I'm showing you guys, I got from 53 Frogs on bids in separate parcels, and I just thought it'd be fun to show you guys some of my first experiences with doublet making. So this is my potch that I'll be using here. I got this stuff off of eBay, and some of it's really dark, some of it's not super dark, but that's great. As you can see, this one here I've kind of flattened out. This one I cut it, but it needs to be flattened a little bit better. And yeah, they're nice big pieces, and you should be able to get parcels like this somewhere online as well. And then this here is some Malawi moonstone, in case some of the pieces, when I flatten them out, are just way too thin and they need to be turned into triplets. I want to try to make the triplets out of this Malawi moonstone that I have that's just not super odulescent, but it's got great clarity. So that'll be a fun little experiment, and we'll see how that turns out. So I will be using this diamond-centered slicing bit from Stoller to do all of my bulk shaping. And I'm going to start by slicing in half the potch pieces. So when you slice up potch or any stone with this kind of a bit on a Dremel, it's going to leave really deep gouges. And you can see that here, how insanely rough that texture is. And that's just not going to do. So once it's at that point, I'm just going to get it as flat as possible here, utilizing the shape of this bit. And we end up with something a little like this. A few scratches is fine. It'll help the resin to stick a little bit better. And then I went in and started flattening out my pieces of color. And really the biggest deal here is just to select which side you think is going to have the better color, and then flatten out the other side until there's no dirt left on it. So when you glue it to the potch, that dirt won't show up, because it will show up really dominantly and be a little distracting and disappointing on the black, because it'll show up as such a stark light color. So that's something to keep in mind for sure when you're doing this, and also when you're selecting pieces to turn into doublets. Like I said earlier, just know that some of them are going to work out and some of them won't. And those that aren't thick enough to be doublets, definitely try to make triplets with them, but some stones are just going to be too filled with dirt, or they're going to break on you, and that's just going to happen, and it's good to be prepared for that. So this is what we got right now, and you can see that the backs are nice and flat, and some of them have some dirt in the face still. That piece was already pretty flat, and so is this one. I tried to get out some of that dirt that's weaving through it, but it didn't quite get out, which is fine. And then I have that one there, has a nice clean back, but a lot of dirt on the face of it. That one pretty clean. This one is clean on the back, but there's like a little bit of potch running through it, but I think that that'll be good. And then this one is super clean, but you can see that there's a divot. So we'll have to work around that. And these are some of the pieces that, you know, didn't work out the best. This piece is too dirty. This piece is also too dirty, which is a real shame because it was really bright. And this piece also is too dirty. And so is this piece. And then this piece is just a little thin. I'll probably make a triplet with it sometime. And then this one, I think I'm going to make a triplet with it now. I think it could be good. That piece just ended up a little bit too small, and you can kind of see how it goes. This piece I decided to make a doublet with anyways. This is the resin that I'll be using for this. This resin is specifically formulated for gem materials to simulate the texture of a opal. So I'm going to weigh out the solution here to make sure that it's as exact as I can be. And here is my black oxide that I'll be coloring this glue black with. I accidentally added too much, so definitely try not to add that much. And also wear gloves doing this. I didn't wear gloves. I don't know why, but I just didn't, and I really should have. So but you're going to want to match up your color to your potch. Put the black glue on both sides, and then you're going to want to wiggle it around on there to get it to stick. And you want to wiggle it to get the bubbles out of it, because bubbles can form underneath it. And then with these bigger pieces, again, I'm just checking to make sure how they'll fit, and then glue in both sides and wiggling it and putting it down. And you can really see I'm getting some of this resin on my hands. Definitely wear gloves. This is what they look like before I let them cure. You can see it's super shiny. I have them a little bit spaced out from each other enough to slice it. And then this is them when they are all dry and cured and stuff 24 hours later, because I give it 24 hours to cure. And you can see on some of them little spots where I kind of dug my nail into it to see if it was cured or not. And it'll leave a little bit of a mark anyways, even after it's cured. And yeah, they're looking pretty good. They're pretty stable. This is my little triplet. I put it on this really thin piece of potch here. And hopefully these will turn out well. I'm going right back in with that same cutting bit, and I am being very careful at this point to just be mindful of where the color is so that I don't cut into it, because with how coarse this bit is, super easy to gouge the heck out of your color. This is what they look like when they're all separated out and their little individual soon-to-be doublet shapes. And then I just kind of cut off some of that potch around it, and the ones that I'm wanting to be cushion cuts, making sure that the sides are nice and flat and flush with the color. And with ones that I want a bit more round, I'm gonna kind of round it to like a really rough shape, not really quite touching it on the color, just to make sure that I know where to take it from there. This is what they're like right now when they are not fully shaped, but they're kind of roughly shaped. And then after this, I am pretty sure that I went on to a more barrel shaped bit, because I feel that I have a bit more control with the barrel shaped bits. But you can see like these cushion cut ones, they're really the potch is really close to the color at this point, so that it leaves me less grinding away to do later. You want to do as much of the potch grinding on your coarsest bit or wheel, just to save on time. And then once you get closer to the color, you'll be a little bit more delicate. And this is the triplet before I put the dome on it. And then here I'm starting out to do a little bit more of a refined shape on my circular cutting bit here. Something to keep in mind about doublet making and this glue that I used, it dries really nice and hard, but you can still kind of see that it wears away a little bit faster than the stone itself, so you want to keep that in mind. And you want to also keep in mind that all that black oxide is going to kind of go everywhere as you're cutting it, so it'll make your water really dark, and you'll want to just keep dipping in water, making sure that you're able to see everything that's going on, especially when you're flattening out the colored part of it to be a bit more close to the potch, because if you can get it a little bit closer to the potch and get the sides nice and even, that is ideal. So this is what they look like after they've been shaped. I did do some more shaping on the barrel shape bit, but I didn't film it. There's a lot that I didn't film in this video, but you can see that the edges are all rounded. The shapes are very much ready to go before I start working on my Nova points, because I want to make sure that most of the effort of my Nova points with these is going to go into getting out little divots here and there and making sure that it's polished, and less of it going to just grinding away and shaping it. Because I know that with some stones I will do more shaping on the black Nova point, but not in this situation, especially since we're waiting extra time for the glue to dry. We really want to save on time in other ways that we can, and we will be doing some more shaping on the black Nova point, but it's not like a whole lot. It really is just to get the scratches out, and if your potch is too thick, the Nova points aren't going to do you any good to get that potch thinner. You are going to need to go all the way back, and I did have a couple of these that the potch was too thick, and it's my first time making doublets, so you know that'll happen. And if you mix too much black oxide in with your glue, it can compromise somewhat the stability of that glue. It can make it softer, so there's a possibility that my glue is a little bit softer than maybe it should be, because I accidentally put in a touch more black oxide than I had wanted to. So that's something to keep in mind too. You really do just need the tiniest bit. And also you'll see me doing all of the shaping and polishing with my hands, because you don't want to dop doublets if you can help it. I mean, if you really want to, you can, and it could totally be safe, but there's also the possibility that the glue will loosen up and the layers will separate. And I heard that, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna risk it. I'm not gonna risk my doublets falling apart when I'm working on them. So it's really up to you whether or not you want to do that, but I'm sure it's fine. And it really is just a, per person basis. If you're careful and you don't like heat it up on the alcohol lamp too much, I'm sure it'll be good. Just, things to take in consideration. But once you get the pink Nova point finished, it's mostly polished. I'm going to show you guys here kind of the difference. This is basically what they look like when they're finished, but this is the pink Nova point finish. So you can see it's like very close to polished, but there's just like a little bit of a haze on the skin of it. It's very satisfying. Still, you can see a lot of the colors blossoming out. It's just starting to look really good. And I have seen some people just leave it after the pink Nova point, but I like to go the extra step and do all the polishing pastes, and I recommend that you do that too, or cerium oxide. And you can see that longer one, I set it back because the potch was too thick and it was super crooked. And this is what the final doublets look like, guys. So this one, my favorite, is so beautiful. Like, holy cow. Those yellows and greens, the freckling of the red in there, and when you get that nice, broad, little mossy flash that it's got going on, it is just phenomenal. So much color in this. I haven't seen an Australian opal with this much color in real life because I haven't worked on very much of it. So really blew my socks off seeing that. And then this piece, you know, it was really thin, so it needed to be a doublet, but you could see that the milkiness of the colored part, you know, distracts a little bit, but the color is great, and the color is still enhanced with the black backing, and I'm very happy with the shape on this as well. I feel like the corners are nice and rounded in, and now this one has a little bit of potch running through the face, but I love how the color kind of flakes off of the potch in a way that makes it look like it's got like an aura, like videos of like the sun, you know? It's like it's emanating off of that potch, and I just think that that's super cool. I really like the blue-green, really great cushion cut as well. And then we have this one, which I almost didn't make a doublet, but I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Yes, that little bit of dirt or potch comes through, but it's still very beautiful brush stroke pattern. And this one here, you could see that the sides are a little bit jagged. I'll have to go back over and fix that up. But this one here, fantastic shape. I love the broad flash that it has, and it has like a little bit of webbing going on in it, which separates that really nice blue from that really great green. And overall, very stunning piece. I feel like this piece has extremely benefited from being doubletified. And yeah, for some of my first doublets, I'm pretty happy with these. This one, the poster child of doublet material, is great. I'm so happy with the oval shape of it. It's really beautiful. And those blues really come out on that black background. It is beautiful. Same with this one. Seeing those blues come out, and this one looks like it's a flagstone chaff pattern. Those blues are great, but you could see that there's a little bit of bubbling in there. It's like teeny tiny bubbles. And the sides aren't the most even ever, but it has that great pattern. There's a little bit of potch coming through in the face of it, but the green blue is great, and I love the chaff. It's a great shape too. I think it's like a 7x5, so this shape could fit a setting if I wanted to, and I wasn't even trying to do that, so that's pretty fun. But yeah, this is what the triplet looks like, and you can see some of that adolescence going on with that opal in the background that has that great yellow, orange, green going on. The Malawi Moonstone on top is really interesting, and I feel like it adds a lot, having those like streaks of adolescence running through it. I wasn't expecting this to be like super crazy beautiful, but I'm like really stunned and impressed with how great this looks. I would like to do this again with a bigger piece, and I also plan on cutting some Malawi Moonstone just as is, to show off the adolescence in them, and I just need to get around to doing that. But these are the finished doublets, and yeah, I love them. Let me know which one down below is your favorite, and we'll move on to my final thoughts. Hey guys, so it's time to talk about my final thoughts on these doublets. So, overall, I'm very happy with how they all turned out. I think that they all have unique features that make them desirable. Naturally, I really like the circular one with all the red, this one here, since I didn't number them. Because, I mean, heck, it's awesome. And it's really nice. I might have made it a little bit thick, but it is my first time ever making doublets. So in the future, I'll be keeping a firmer eye on that, and I'll try to keep bubbling to a minimum. As you guys saw, I did get a little bit of bubbling on this one here. I don't know if you guys can tell in the video that I took, but there is some very slight bubbling left in the resin underneath it, so that, you know, that happens. but there are things I could have done to try to avoid it a little bit more. But overall, the bubbles are pretty small, so it's really not that big of a deal. The triplet, I do think that it's really cool with the Malawi Moonstone on top. And the triplet is small, but beautiful. I would make a triplet with Malawi Moonstone again. It has a lot of depth of interest in it. The thin opal underneath does have red, so, I mean, hey, it's pretty nice. I really like the broad blue-green one, too. The broad blue-green cushion cut here is a really cool cushion cut. When you can catch it, it's pretty spectacular. And something to keep in mind is, like, see those deeper blues that are showing up right now? Those are going to look better on camera than in person. So when you see those super ultraviolet blues, they almost always show up better on camera. You don't see those with your eyes very much. But the green that it provides is really nice. It also has those couple of flashes, like little flagstone-y pieces in it that kind of look to me like birds flying across it, which I think is really fun and nice. It's a little directional, but some of the best stones are directional, I feel like. This paintbrush pattern one, you know, has some dirt going on in it, but overall, it's pretty good. Pretty happy with the way it turned out. Got a pretty good teardrop out of it. It's got lots of green going on. You can't miss the green. I mean, any angle you're going to see that green, and that's pretty nice, because like that cushion cut I was just talking about, you have to hunt to find the green in that, just a bit. But it is broad when you catch it. But I do like that you can see the green in that really well. I like the paintbrush pattern. Probably my biggest one next to this this big blue one right here, which in person it looks pretty much as good as it does on camera. It's not like super bright. It's not the brightest thing in the world. But the shape is really good. The blues just really, they need that black background to make them stand on their own, because it just looks like a whole lot of nothing when you get that blue and some crystal and you don't have a black backing. I also like this cushion cut. It has a little bit of potch in the corner, but the greens are pretty brilliant. I think that the potch is kind of cool in it, honestly. And you do catch that green from a lot of angles, and it is pretty bright, so pretty happy with that one. And then we have this one, which ended up having a little bit of a really like milky body tone to it. I thought it was a little bit more crystal, but of course it is more of a white opal. It still looks better with the black backing, I'm sure. Definitely made it thicker. Something I like about this one is it has those good yellows in it, because I do like some good yellows. You know, they're yellows that turn into green, which is pretty cool. Yeah, overall very happy with the way that these doublets turned out, considering that they're my very first doublets. I think my only disappointment is that some of them, the potch is a little bit thicker maybe than it should be, and that can be remedied pretty easily. I just kind of gotta go back to the old Dremel and bring it down a bit, but I'm probably gonna leave them how they are, because they're mostly pretty alright. You just might want some taller prongs with them. But yeah, handful of beauties for sure. And I think that triplet with the Malawi Moonstone is a big win, you know, being able to get something out of it. But yeah, I will be making more doublets and triplets in the future. I have other batches of stone set aside to create more doublets and triplets because I really like them. I can't really say when any of these will be available for purchase on my eBay store, but you can still keep an eye out. I might sell some here and there, but yeah, very happy with these results. I think that they turned out pretty good. I think that they're pretty stable. For my first ever doublets and my first ever triplet, I think I did a good job. I could have done a lot worse, but yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. You're awesome if you're still watching. And, yeah. Thank you so much for watching this far, those of you who are. If you're still watching, may as well give this video a thumbs up and let the algorithm know that this video has been enjoyable. If you have anything to say, let me know down below. I would super appreciate it if you would comment. If you have one friend to share this with, I would really appreciate it if you would share it with that friend. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed and help make our community stronger. Turn on notifications and I'll see you guys next time I make a video. Later!